behaves around wealth differently, and therefore attracts prosperity effortlessly in ways that would have been impossible for the old programmed version of you that existed before tonight. But before we begin this profound journey together, before I guide you into the teachings and practices that will transform you over the next 21 nights, I need you to do 4 critical things right now while your full conscious attention is still here. Because in just a few minutes, I am going to ask you to lower the volume and allow yourself to drift towards sleep. And these actions must happen first while you are still alert and engaged. First, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on all notifications. This channel is where you discover Florence Scovel Shinn's prosperity teachings that actually work in the real world. Ancient spiritual laws applied to create modern financial miracles. Practices that have transformed thousands of lives over generations and will transform yours starting tonight. When you subscribe, you guarantee that you can find this transmission easily every single night for the next 21 nights, maintaining your consistency, protecting your momentum, ensuring your transformation is not interrupted by having to search for the video. So click subscribe right now, turn on that notification bell, then continue listening. Second, and this is absolutely crucial for activating the full power of what you are about to receive, write in the comment section right now the exact words, "I commit to 21 consecutive nights of wealth consciousness programming starting tonight," and then add your city and country so we can celebrate this global prosperity movement together. When you make this public declaration, you create energetic accountability that your subconscious mind responds to far more powerfully than any private intention that nobody else knows about. Your subconscious takes you seriously when you commit publicly. So pause for just 10 seconds right now, scroll down to the comments, and write, "I commit to 21 consecutive nights of wealth consciousness programming starting tonight," plus your location. Do it now before we go any further. Third, hit that like button because that simple action tells the algorithm to share this prosperity teaching with other souls who desperately need to discover it. People whose lives could transform completely if they just knew these principles existed. People struggling with money who have no idea that their sleep hours could be used for wealth manifestation. Your like is not for me. Your like is an act of service to help others find their path to prosperity. Click it now. Fourth and finally, I need you to commit right now that after you complete all 21 consecutive nights, you will return to this comment section and share your testimony. Tell us what shifted in your consciousness. Tell us what manifested in your circumstances. Tell us about the unexpected money that appeared, the opportunities that opened, the anxiety that dissolved, the confidence that emerged. Your testimony will not only honor your own transformation, but will also inspire others who are just beginning their 21-night journey and need proof that this works. Make that commitment now. After 21 nights, you will return and share your results. Now let me explain to you exactly what is going to happen over these next 21 nights and why this specific time frame is so critical for permanent transformation. Your subconscious mind, which controls 90% of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, has been programmed with beliefs about money since you were a small child, absorbing every message from your parents, your culture, your experiences, your religious conditioning, all creating a complex web of unconscious beliefs that now run automatically beneath your awareness, creating your financial reality, whether you like it or not. Most people have deep subconscious programming that says money is hard to earn, that you have to work brutally hard for every dollar, that rich people are somehow bad or unspiritual, that wanting wealth is selfish, that there is never enough to go around, that you specifically are not deserving or worthy of abundance. And these beliefs, operating beneath conscious awareness, create circumstances that match them perfectly, which is why you can work incredibly hard during your waking hours, but still struggle financially if your subconscious is programmed for scarcity. Modern neuroscience has discovered something profound that Florence Scovel Shinn knew intuitively over a century ago. During sleep, particularly during the transition into sleep and during certain stages of the sleep cycle, when your brain produces theta and delta waves, your subconscious mind becomes maximally receptive to new programming. The critical faculty that normally filters and censors everything during waking hours goes completely offline. The resistance that makes affirmations feel empty during the day completely disappears. And whatever programming you installed during these receptive hours goes directly into your subconscious without any argument, without any doubt, without any contradiction, creating new neural pathways that then influence your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors automatically when you wake up. Scientists have also discovered that it takes approximately 21 days of consistent, repetitive input to create new neural pathways that become strong enough to override old patterns. The first few nights of practice create weak pathways that are easily ignored by your brain. But by night 7, those pathways are strengthening. By night 14, they are becoming your new normal. And by night 21, they are established patterns that your brain now treats as default programming, meaning wealth consciousness becomes automatic rather than something you have to consciously try to maintain. This is why the 21 consecutive nights are absolutely non-negotiable. You cannot skip even one night without breaking the momentum and having to start the count over from the beginning. Your transformation depends entirely on your faithfulness to this 21-night protocol. Let me tell you a story that perfectly illustrates what becomes possible when you commit to this practice faithfully. There was a woman who came to Florence Scovel Shinn many years ago in a state of complete financial desperation that many of you listening tonight might relate to deeply. She was a widow with 3 young children, ages 5, 7, and 9, and her husband had died suddenly in an accident 18 months earlier without any life insurance policies in place because they had always been too poor to afford the monthly premiums and kept telling themselves they would get coverage someday when they had more money. She had not worked outside the home during her 12-year marriage because her husband insisted she stay home with the children, so she had no recent work experience, no professional network, no clear path to employment that would pay enough to support 4 people. She was living temporarily with her sister's family, who resented having to share their small home and made her feel like a burden every single day through passive-aggressive comments and cold treatment. She was applying for dozens of jobs every week, but getting rejected because she had no experience or because the hours did not work with her childcare needs. She had borrowed money from everyone she knew and still could not pay her bills. She was facing the very real possibility of homelessness within 60 days. And perhaps worst of all, the crushing stress and shame and fear about her situation were affecting her children, who could sense her desperation even though she tried to hide it, and who were becoming anxious and withdrawn themselves. She came to Florence's lecture feeling like it was her last hope, like if this did not work, she did not know what she would do. She told Florence that she had tried everything she could think of to improve her circumstances. She had tried budgeting, but you cannot budget money you do not have. She had tried positive thinking, but it felt like lying to herself when her bank account showed $17.32, and she had bills totaling over $3,000 due within the month. She had tried praying, but felt like God was not listening or did not care about her specific situation. She was so stressed about money that she was not sleeping at night, lying awake for hours in her sister's guest room, gripped by anxiety, her mind spinning through worst-case scenarios, imagining her children going hungry or ending up in foster care if she could not provide for them. Florence looked at this desperate woman with great compassion and taught her something that changed everything. She explained that the hours this woman was spending awake worrying were actually the most valuable hours available for transformation if she would use them differently. Florence taught her the bedtime prosperity decree and instructed her to speak it out loud every single night before attempting to sleep, no matter how much her circumstances seemed to contradict the words she was saying. The decree was, "As I sleep tonight, divine abundance flows through my consciousness like a river of gold. Every cell of my being is saturated with prosperity. My subconscious mind is now aligned with infinite supply. I wake tomorrow morning magnetized to money, attracting wealth effortlessly, open to receive abundance from expected and unexpected sources. Infinite intelligence is working through my sleeping mind right now, dissolving every block to prosperity, erasing every limiting belief, installing perfect abundance consciousness that creates wealth automatically in my life." Florence also taught her to fall asleep, repeating silently, "I am rich, I am blessed, I am divinely provided for," making those words the last conscious thought before sleep took her. And she instructed the woman to commit to this practice for 21 consecutive nights without exception, explaining that this was how long it would take to rewire the poverty programming that was creating her circumstances. The woman was skeptical because her situation was so dire that words felt powerless against the reality of unpaid bills and looming homelessness. But she was desperate enough to try anything, so she made the commitment. That first night, she spoke the prosperity decree through tears, feeling foolish talking to herself about divine abundance and rivers of gold when she had less than $20 to her name and no idea where her next meal would come from after her sister's pantry ran out. But she did it anyway, speaking every word out loud slowly, then lying down and repeating silently, "I am rich, I am blessed, I am divinely provided for," until sleep finally came. She slept through the entire night for the first time in months, not waking once with anxiety. Something about the practice had calmed her nervous system enough to allow deep rest. She continued the practice faithfully every single night, even though nothing changed in her external circumstances during the first week. But internally, something was beginning to shift that she could not quite identify yet. The paralyzing fear that had been consuming her started to quiet just slightly. The constant mental rehearsal of disaster scenarios was being replaced occasionally by moments of strange peace where she found herself thinking, somehow, this is going to work out. The desperate energy that had been driving her frantic job applications was softening into something more calm and confident. She did not understand why she was feeling different when her circumstances were still terrible, but she kept faith with the practice, speaking the decree every night, falling asleep with wealth affirmations on her lips. In the second week, small external shifts began appearing. A neighbor who barely knew her knocked on the door and said she had heard the woman was looking for work and wondered if she would be interested in watching the neighbor's 2 children after school for $20 per day, which was not much, but was something. Someone anonymously left a bag of groceries on the porch with a note that said, "I was prompted to help." The woman's sister, who had been cold and resentful, suddenly became warmer and more supportive, offering to watch the children so the woman could attend more job interviews. These were not life-changing events individually, but they were evidence that something was moving, that the universe was beginning to respond to her shifted consciousness. By the end of the third week, after 21 consecutive nights of faithful sleep practice, major transformations occurred. A friend from her pre-marriage work life reached out completely unexpectedly, having heard she was job hunting, and offered her a position at the company where this friend now worked as a manager. The job paid twice what the woman had been hoping to find and had flexible hours that worked perfectly with her children's school schedules. A distant relative she had met maybe twice in her life and who lived in another state sent her a check for $5,000 with a note saying he had felt spiritually prompted to help her get back on her feet. Her landlord, through a series of circumstances she could not have orchestrated, offered her a rent-reduced apartment specifically for single mothers in difficult situations. Within 30 days of starting the 21-night practice, every single external circumstance had shifted from crisis to stability. But when she returned to thank Florence Scovel Shinn, she said something profound. She said the external changes, as miraculous as they were not actually the most important transformation. The real miracle was internal. She said, "I used to lie awake every night consumed by terror that we would end up on the street with nowhere to go. Now I lie down peacefully every night, knowing we are divinely cared for, and that knowing creates the actual care in physical form. I stopped trying to figure out how money would come and just programmed my subconscious every night with absolute certainty that it would come. And then it came from directions I never could have imagined or created through my own limited human planning. My consciousness shifted from poverty to prosperity during those 21 nights of sleep practice. And once my consciousness shifted, my circumstances had no choice but to shift to match it, because that is how spiritual law operates. Now I want you to understand something crucial before we transition into the deeper meditation portion of this transmission. You do not need to consciously focus on or remember everything you are about to hear. In fact, the most powerful transformation happens when you allow yourself to fall asleep naturally while this programming continues in the background. Because your subconscious absorbs everything perfectly while your conscious mind rests. Your only job is to get comfortable, Close your eyes, breathe naturally, and allow sleep to come whenever your body is ready. Everything else happens automatically. So right now, lower the volume of this transmission to a comfortable background level. Not so low that you hear nothing, but low enough that you can tell something is playing, but you cannot clearly make out every single word unless you focus intently. That is the perfect level for subconscious programming because your conscious mind cannot engage enough to analyze or resist, and the words slip directly past your conscious defenses into your receptive subconscious where they do their transformative work. Once you have adjusted the volume, lie down in your most comfortable sleeping position. Place your head on your pillow. Pull your covers up to whatever warmth feels right. Close your eyes if you have not already. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth, feeling your body relax more deeply with each exhale. And now, as the final preparation before we begin the deep programming, speak silently in your mind 3 times these words. I am wealthy. I am blessed. I am open to receive unlimited abundance tonight. Say that 3 times with as much genuine feeling as you can access. I am wealthy. I am blessed. I am open to receive unlimited abundance tonight. Those words spoken as your last conscious thought before full relaxation act like opening a door in your subconscious, inviting the wealth consciousness programming to enter freely and establish itself in your being. They create receptivity, openness, permission for transformation to happen at the deepest levels. Now let go of all effort, all control, all conscious involvement. Release into sleep naturally whenever it comes, and trust that divine intelligence working through your subconscious mind during the night will accomplish far more than your conscious mind could ever orchestrate through effort. Your wealthy self is waiting on the other side of these 21 nights. Your abundant life is being programmed into your subconscious starting tonight. Welcome to your prosperity portal. Welcome to wealth consciousness. Welcome home to the abundant being you truly are. I am wealthy. Money flows to me easily and naturally. I am divinely provided for in every moment. Abundance is my natural state of being. Prosperity comes to me effortlessly from expected and unexpected sources. I attract wealth automatically through the law of opulence. I am financially blessed beyond measure. Money loves me, and I love money in a healthy, prosperous relationship. We flow together naturally in divine circulation. I am wealthy. Money flows to me easily and naturally. I am divinely provided for in every moment. Abundance is my natural state of being. Your subconscious mind is listening even as you drift toward sleep. Your deeper mind is absorbing these prosperity frequencies even as your conscious mind begins to fade. You do not need to focus or concentrate or try to remember. Simply rest, simply breathe, simply allow. The transformation is happening automatically beneath your awareness. Your subconscious is being saturated with wealth consciousness right now. Old scarcity beliefs are dissolving effortlessly. New prosperity beliefs are forming at the deepest levels. This is working perfectly. Trust completely. I am wealthy. I deserve unlimited abundance. I am worthy of every dollar that comes to me. I claim prosperity as my divine birthright. I accept money easily and gratefully whenever it appears. I spend money wisely and joyfully on things that matter. I save money naturally and consistently for my future security. I invest money intelligently and profitably in opportunities that multiply. I give money generously and freely to causes that inspire me. I receive money constantly and abundantly from multiple streams. I am wealthy. I deserve unlimited abundance. I am worthy of every dollar that comes to me. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that your consciousness during sleep is like fertile soil that has been tilled and prepared, ready to receive whatever seeds you plant before drifting into unconsciousness. And those seeds, whether they are seeds of abundance or seeds of lack, will grow through the night and bear fruit in your waking life. You are planting seeds of prosperity right now. Each affirmation is a seed being planted in your subconscious soil. By morning, those seeds will have sprouted invisible roots. By the end of 21 nights, they will have grown into mighty trees of abundance that produce fruit automatically, effortlessly, abundantly in your physical reality. I release all resistance to wealth entering my life. I release all fear about money and finances. I release all guilt about wanting and having abundance. I release all shame about prosperity and success. I forgive myself completely for every past financial mistake. I forgive others who harmed me financially in any way. I forgive my parents for any scarcity beliefs they passed to me unconsciously. I am free from all negative money programming from my past. I am open to all positive wealth experiences in my present and future. I am ready to receive unlimited abundance starting right now. I am willing to be outrageously prosperous beyond my current imagination. I am wealthy. I release all resistance to wealth entering my life. Your body is relaxing more deeply with each breath you take. Your muscles are releasing all tension and tightness. Your mind is becoming peaceful and quiet. And beneath this surface calm, profound transformation is unfolding. Your subconscious is being reprogrammed for prosperity at cellular, neural, and energetic levels. Every repetition of these affirmations strengthens the new programming. Every exposure to these frequencies elevates your vibration. You are literally becoming a different person at the identity level through this practice. Someone who naturally expects abundance. Someone who automatically attracts opportunity. Someone who effortlessly creates wealth. This is who you are becoming through consistent nightly practice over 21 nights. Money comes to me now. Abundance manifests for me now. Prosperity appears in my life now. Not someday far in the future. Not eventually, when conditions are perfect. Now, today, this week, this month. Right now, as I rest and receive this programming, my financial breakthrough is forming in the invisible realm. Old patterns are breaking apart. New patterns are establishing themselves. Old beliefs are dissolving like sugar in water. New beliefs are solidifying like concrete drying. Old circumstances are shifting beneath the surface. New circumstances are preparing to emerge. The breakthrough is not future. The breakthrough is present. The breakthrough is happening now as I sleep. Let me tell you another story about the power of 21 consecutive nights of sleep programming. There was a man who came to Florence Scovel Shinn during very difficult economic times when millions of people had lost everything and genuine poverty was widespread across the nation. This man had been wealthy before the economic crash, running a successful business that provided well for his family and allowed him to live comfortably without financial stress. But when the economy collapsed, everything fell apart seemingly overnight. His business failed because his customers could no longer afford his services. His savings evaporated as he tried desperately to keep the business afloat. He went from prosperity to barely surviving in a matter of months. And the psychological impact was devastating in ways that went far beyond just losing money. He was consumed by bitterness about what he had lost, angry at the circumstances that took his wealth away, fearful that he would never recover what he once had. He could not sleep at night because the moment he closed his eyes, his mind would start replaying everything that went wrong, analyzing every decision, wondering where he made mistakes, imagining all the terrible things that might happen next. He was exhausted from sleepless nights, depressed from constant worry, convinced that his life would never be good again financially. Florence taught him the sleep prosperity practices that I am teaching you tonight. She taught him to speak the burden decree before bed, to fall asleep repeating the wealth lullaby, to use his sleep hours as dedicated programming time rather than as wasted hours of unconscious anxiety. But he resisted at first because he felt like declaring "I am rich" when he was nearly homeless was ridiculous, perhaps even insulting to people suffering real poverty. He felt like the practices were denial of reality, pretending things were fine when they clearly were not fine. But Florence explained to him something profound that shifted his entire perspective. She said, "Your current poverty is not more real than your spiritual wealth. Your empty bank account is a temporary circumstance that can change rapidly. But your connection to infinite supply is an eternal spiritual fact that can never change. If you want to restore your fortune, you must restore your prosperity consciousness first. And the fastest way to do that is through dedicated sleep practice, where you reprogram your subconscious every single night without your conscious mind interfering with doubt and resistance." Finally, he agreed to try it, mainly because he was too exhausted from sleepless nights to keep resisting. That very night, he spoke the prosperity decree before bed, even though the words felt empty coming out of his mouth. Then, as he drifted towards sleep, he repeated silently, "I am rich, I am blessed, I am divinely provided for," until sleep finally took him. For the first time in months, He slept deeply and peacefully through the entire night. Something about the practice had calmed his racing mind and anxious heart enough to allow genuine rest. He continued the practice every single night without fail. After about 2 weeks of faithful practice, he noticed his entire mental and emotional state had shifted dramatically. He no longer felt desperate and hopeless when he woke each morning. Ideas were coming to him about how to rebuild that had not occurred to him before. He was seeing opportunities he had been blind to previously. His energy and confidence had returned. He felt like himself again for the first time since losing his fortune. Like the real him was emerging from beneath the depression and fear that had been smothering him. Within 3 months of consistent nightly sleep practice, he had started a new business venture that immediately began succeeding in ways his old business never had. Within 6 months, he had recovered more than half of what he had lost. Within 18 months, he was wealthier than he had been before the economic crash, with more stability and security because he had learned to build his fortune on consciousness rather than on circumstances. And he credited the transformation entirely to those simple practices of working with his consciousness during sleep, practices that had rewired his prosperity programming at such deep levels that abundance could flow to him again naturally and effortlessly. When he shared his testimony with Florence Scovel Shinn, he said something that really captures the essence of how this works. He said, "I did not chase any of these opportunities that restored my wealth. They came to me naturally. I did not force anything to happen through struggle and effort. It unfolded organically. I just kept programming my subconscious every single night with prosperity consciousness, and my external world rearranged itself automatically to match my internal state. That is how spiritual law operates. Consciousness is cause. Circumstances are effect. Change the cause and the effect must change. It is not optional. It is law as reliable as gravity. I am wealthy in consciousness. I am wealthy in truth. I am wealthy in spirit. And very soon, I am wealthy in physical form as well. My inner wealth is manifesting as outer wealth naturally and inevitably. I am patient with the unfolding process. I am faithful to the vision. I am grateful for the journey. I am prosperous now and always. Wealth is who I am at my core. Abundance is what I do naturally. Prosperity is how I live daily. Money loves me and I love money. We are in perfect harmony together. All is well. All is abundant. All is prosperous. And so it is. Your subconscious mind does not sleep when your body sleeps. In fact, it becomes hyperactive during sleep hours, processing the day's experiences, consolidating memories, working through problems, and most importantly, for our purposes tonight, creating your future reality based on the dominant thoughts and beliefs it is holding. Scientists have discovered that the brain waves during certain stages of sleep, particularly the theta and delta wave states, are the same brain wave frequencies present during deep meditation, hypnosis, and peak creative states. These are the frequencies where manifestation happens most powerfully, where consciousness has direct access to what quantum physicists call the field of infinite possibilities, where thoughts become things at accelerated rates, where intention collapses into form almost instantaneously. So every single night, whether you realize it or not, whether you are using it consciously or not, you are spending several hours in the most powerful manifestation state that exists. Your brain is literally producing the same frequencies as master meditators who spend years training to reach these states. You are accessing the same consciousness portal that mystics and saints throughout history have sought through elaborate practices and disciplines. You are entering the field of pure creative potential, where miracles are not just possible, but natural. The only question is, what are you creating during those powerful hours? Are you using that immense creative power intentionally to manifest abundance, or are you allowing old scarcity programming to run unconsciously, recreating lack and limitation automatically? Most people, and this might have been you until tonight, go to bed with their minds full of worry, fear, stress about money, replaying financial problems, imagining worst-case scenarios, essentially spending several hours in the most powerful manifestation state, programming their subconscious for more lack and limitation. Then they wake up and wonder why their financial situation never improves despite their hard work during the day. They are literally undoing any progress they make while awake by spending their sleep hours, the most powerful creative hours available, reinforcing poverty consciousness at the deepest levels where behavior is actually controlled. But you are learning a radically different approach tonight. You are learning to treat the transition into sleep as sacred ritual, a holy practice of consciously directing the subconscious mind toward prosperity before releasing into sleep. You are learning specific words to speak, specific images to hold, specific feelings to cultivate during that precious window between waking and sleeping, essentially hijacking the most powerful manifestation time available and using it deliberately to rewire prosperity consciousness at levels the conscious mind can never reach during waking hours. I attract wealthy, successful people into my life naturally. I surround myself with positive influences who support my financial growth genuinely. I learn from mentors and models who have achieved what I desire. I am part of a community of abundance where we lift each other up. We celebrate each other's successes without jealousy. We share resources, ideas, and opportunities generously. My network is my net worth, and both are growing exponentially. I am wealthy. I attract wealthy, successful people into my life naturally. Your home is a place of abundance. Beauty, comfort, and plenty surround you in your living space. You live in an environment that reflects your prosperity and supports your well-being. You are grateful for your home and all the blessings it represents daily. As you feel grateful, you attract even more reasons to be grateful automatically. Gratitude is the attitude of abundance, and you cultivate it naturally. Your career or business is thriving beyond your expectations. You are recognized and rewarded for your contributions appropriately. Your value is acknowledged and compensated generously by those who benefit. You negotiate confidently for what you deserve without hesitation. You never settle for less than you are worth. You know your value deeply, and you insist that others respect it as well. This confidence attracts respect and abundance into every area of your life. Money comes to you in expected ways like salary and business income. Money also comes to you in unexpected ways like gifts, windfalls, and sudden opportunities. You receive bonuses, raises, and promotions at work regularly. You also receive inheritances, refunds, and found money surprisingly. You are open to all channels of abundance without limiting how prosperity can reach you.